A new era for Europe's most powerful economy. 16 years of a government helmed by Angela Merkel is out, making way for a new, as of yet unknown, administration. While her tenure was defined by a steady hand amidst various crises, many agree a bolder economic transformation is overdue. And that's why the outcome of the election matters for the world. When Germany says goodbye to its outgoing government, the challenges to its economy will be carried over into the next one. There's a lot the incoming government will have to deal with in order for Germany to be able to hold on to its place among the world's leading economies.
I could list 55 different things that would have to be done.
There is still the recovery from the pandemic.
Population aging, digitalization, the environmental crisis.
Future relations with China.
Now, we're obviously not going to get through all of the issues, but here are some of the biggest. In many ways, some of these challenges are of the kind facing all of us, like the one where we're all hurtling towards a catastrophic end if we don't immediately cut back on our greenhouse gas emissions. The effects of the climate crisis hit Germany particularly hard just a few months ago, when unseasonably heavy rains and flooding killed more than 180 people, destroyed entire towns, and wrought tens of billions of euros in damage. The catastrophe further fueled concerns that in the last years, too little had been done for the climate, too slowly.
Germany certainly was not a climate leader for the last decade under Merkel. But in a sense, also, we may be about to see a restart. I mean, the news, notably, of the decision by the German Constitutional Court that demands action by the German government, the introduction of a national carbon tax regime that is comprehensive and covers all areas of German society last year is very big news. And it is the backdrop to the EU's decisions to attempt the same thing at the European level. So Germany is acting as a conceptual leader there, a pace setter. But is it enough to address, the reality of the climate crisis?
Good question, especially given a trend that should worry Germany's next government. This year, Germany is expected to post its biggest rise in greenhouse gas emissions since 1990. Last year, the pandemic brought public life to a standstill. The upshot of which is that Germany met its emission reduction targets in 2020 compared to the baseline year of 1990. As the economy reopened this year, the 2021 goal will be missed, making it harder to achieve an even bigger cutback in 2030. The goal is for the country to become climate neutral by 2045. While it's generally trying to head into the right direction, it needs to speed up, as well as integrate climate change adaptation into the economy, and that requires investing in resilient infrastructure, housing, transport, and industry. Analysts warn that not doing so will cost Germany much more in the end.
The question is to what degree, we can manage changes and, successfully transform the economy, or whether we'll be very unhappy with the situation where economic prosperity is at stake, or where climate change is having very negative consequences for the economy because it's an unmanaged transformation.
Now, in transforming the economy of a manufacturing superpower, an industry makeover will be key. When it comes to the task of modernizing industry, there's one sector where that's particularly urgent. The automotive industry, the German economy's crown jewel, is largely considered to have been slow to adapt to low-emissions technology like electric vehicles. But in the last years, the outgoing government has pushed billions in incentives and subsidies to help kick electromobility into high gear. Still, years of dithering mean others have gotten there first. In terms of market cap, American electric car maker Tesla has overtaken the big automotive players, including Germany's big three: Volkswagen, Daimler, and BMW. While Germany's big car makers might be able to swing the transition into an electric future, there's an entire network of suppliers designed around gas and diesel-powered models that have to transform too. But transformation comes at a price. One worst-case scenario says that the shift to electromobility can cost the automotive sector half of its jobs by 2030. Now, remember that goal to become climate neutral by 2045? The transport sector will have to sink emissions especially dramatically in order for that to happen, about 40% within the next decade. So the next government will still have to grapple with the question of whether to stop the sale of conventional combustion engines in order to achieve that goal, something that divides political parties and the population. Now, we can't talk about Germany's most exported product without zooming out onto trade itself. To say Germany has done well from globalization is an understatement. In fact, in terms of share of global exports, only the world's #1 and 2 economies are ahead of it. But the incoming German government is taking over at a particularly special time for global trade. Following the protectionism in vogue during the Trump years, the COVID-19 pandemic also did its part in creating supply bottlenecks and disrupting supply chains, resulting in shortages in building materials, vital tech parts like semiconductors, plastics, rubber, and metals. Even as trade recovers, a discussion on how to make supply chains more resilient is likely to continue on to the next administration.
What they should not do is really to call for production reshoring and to call for firms to bring back production to Germany. Now, what policymakers could do, for instance, is to sign further trade agreements or to ratify already negotiated trade agreements, such as the trade agreement with Canada, etc., or the trade agreement with South American countries. With such trade agreements, these trade agreements would lead to a decrease in trade costs and would also help firms diversify more their supply chains. And so this could be a way to increase competitiveness of German firms.
But in the post-Merkel era, eyes will be on arguably the most significant trading relationship this export heavyweight has. China is Germany's most important trading partner, with goods traded between the two countries reaching almost 213 billion euros in 2020. But Germany has been criticized for using trade as an engagement strategy in the face of Chinese authoritarianism and expansionism.
Germany can attempt to lead, it can offer a vision, but it depends critically on whether other key players are actually willing to go along with that. Because it is not the kind of power that can impose itself. I mean, how could Germany impose itself on China? I mean, it's an absurd idea. But it can offer a prospect, it can offer an attractive partnership, and the Chinese have been only too ready to recognize the potential benefits of that. But you cannot, in the end, if you are an export-orientated manufacturing player like Germany, ignore the sheer scale of that market.
At the same time, China is the key competitor to watch out for when it comes to digital technologies. For its part, Germany has struggled to keep up. Now, one other thing the pandemic has laid bare is how painfully behind Germany is when it comes to digitalization. Now, it's not what you'd expect for a country famed for invention and innovation, but internet speeds, the digitization of public services, and the development of digital business models haven't been the fastest here. According to the Speed Test Global Ranking, Germany isn't even among the top 20 countries with the fastest mobile and broadband speeds.
We will need to invest more in digital infrastructure, but money is not going to solve all problems here. Again, it's like putting money on the system as it is currently set up is not going to necessarily help, with the complex decision making. It's not going to help with the delay in, finding consensus and then maybe even going for a suboptimal, non-coordinated measure. Instead, it's really about changing the system, how we manage this transformation.
Now, it's not just because of slow internet speeds that things take time in Germany. It's the bureaucracy itself. There's a certain love for rules and processes that often translates into piles of paperwork to be filled out and transmitted via fax machine. Now, according to the World Bank, Germany ranks 125th out of 190 countries when it comes to the ease of starting a business. But experts warn that more ambitious targets, say when it comes to climate change regulations, mean more rules are coming, not fewer.
I expect there will be more regulations to be put into place, and it needs to make government needs to make sure that these regulations don't disadvantage Mittelstand businesses, small businesses, new businesses, and at the same time they don't create new regulations, and on the other hand create new support programs to make sure that small businesses are not disadvantaged. I think it's a huge task.
And finally, the economy isn't just about industries or the policies that govern them. It's about the people too. And this country of 83 million is experiencing a pretty key demographic change. Among all the age groups here, it's the 40 to 59-year-old category that is by far the largest at 23.6 million people. The next largest age group is made up of those 65 years and older at more than 18 million. This year alone, there will be roughly 150,000 fewer working-age residents. That's according to the country's federal labor agency. And to be able to address that shortfall, the government has to do more to expand the pool.
First, in terms of labor market, Germany must strengthen the immigration of skilled workers and improve equal opportunities, for instance, through education policy reforms.
And as people age out of the workforce, they have to be supported by public finances, meaning higher spending on healthcare and social security. Now, these are just some of the challenges facing Europe's biggest economy. But here's the question: is Germany's next government equipped to handle them? In the end, any kind of transformation will have to be done within the context of Germany's consensus-seeking structure, with the new government certain to be a broad coalition of parties representing very different interests. The issue is whether it will be able to make bold decisions on the big questions.
I think the biggest single weakness, which is an inability or unwillingness to take risks in the economy and beyond. The issue for Germany is to combine the necessary and attractive checks and balances in the German system that has led this country to be seen as a bulwark for liberal democracy, for stability in a world of horrific lurches and unpredictability. How do you combine that with a system that not just allows for, but positively encourages and facilitates greater risk-taking?
Creating conditions that encourage change for the people is possibly Germany's biggest challenge, as it faces the significant tasks to come, both locally and globally. In any case, change should be unavoidable. But to what degree and to what effect will depend very much on who assumes power in what's still Europe's economic powerhouse, for now. If you enjoyed this video, we have others just like it, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks, and see you soon.